What's up, guys, and welcome back to the China qualifiers for the Manila Masters 2017. I'm Mike Loris, going to be your caster for this Vici Gaming versus iG.V Game 2. We had ourselves a pretty clean tempo game from Vici in Game 1. Make sure iG.V never really got off the ground with their initiation, with their Terrorblade. Didn't really get to that oppressive state. Was powerful, yes, but not quite powerful enough. So we'll see if iG.V are able to put something together that is perhaps a little bit a method of safer initiation, a little bit of a stronger laning phase, perhaps. That's really where things just started off for iG.V. Just they had to face up against, what was the hero that dumped them in the early game? I think it was this hero. I think it was the Abaddon. It's going to be first picked this time from Vici Gaming, much as it was in the last game. And I gotta say, after last game's performances, I can't say no to it. It seems pretty good here, so they're just going to grab the Abaddon and be okay with it, because it dumps their last game. But there are situations in Dota where Abaddon is not going to have the same lane that we saw in the last game. You will run into issues being up against one too many range heroes, not having his own set of support heroes with him, not having a Bloodlust for one thing, starting off perhaps at a game state where he's getting poked at. He started that off with a Nyx Assassin matchup, which meant that he was able to get like level 3 or 4 by the time the real lane came about with a 3v3 tri-lane. And then Abaddon just had that huge advantage because he had all those levels from the beginning. So if iG.V maybe stuck to something, anything, without making that swap, maybe they could have handled this Abaddon better. But I just want to see them with the ability to kill the Abaddon, and I like this Juggernaut pick in that regard. Now, Juggernaut later on has to go up against Borrowed Time and the Shield, and that's really inconvenient, but there's no two ways about that. It's going to happen. This lets them apply active pressure to the Abaddon incredibly early on. It's not always going to be enough to get kills, because I don't think actually a spin kills an Abaddon straight off unless you have like a gross advantage over him. Getting like Avenge or something to help out there, it would be, of course, very nice. But you have that Shield to worry about as well, and most of the time Abaddon can get that off. I don't think you could chain stun him and then spin him down in the chain stun. Something really weird has happened for that to be the case. They're going to take the Rubik, though, and just set up to, at least as much as they can, counter this Abaddon in this early stage. And, maybe it's a little bit of PTSD. Perhaps you could make that argument. I would say it's well warranted. And even without, like, this Abaddon first pick, you swap out any other hero for that first block for Vici, iG.V decide Juggernaut Rubik's a good opening, and you know what? I agree with them. It's a pretty solid one. Now, Lifestealer still is in. The hero that takes Lifestealer's spot in the ban phase, first phase, is a Riki, actually. I'm not really sure where that came in. I have no idea, in fact. Riki wasn't banned in the last game. He wasn't picked, obviously. So, kind of came out of left field there. Riki's, I guess, good up against Abaddon. I guess maybe they're going to grab someone who really doesn't like playing up against Smokescreen, who really doesn't... Ursa doesn't give a shit about Riki, so I'm not really sure what that ban was for from the Vici Gaming squad. But I like the Ursa pick. There is a very low chance here that iG.V are going to grab the Lifestealer, and now Vici are pretty safeguarded completely. So they have that hero essentially banned out at this point. Ursa running forward with an Abaddon, just straight run at you style, very similar to what we saw in the last game. Looks like it's going to be coming from the Vici squad. Now, the big difference here is that Ursa versus Juggernaut, as far as pushing towers are concerned, Juggernaut does it a little bit better. That healing ward in the last game for Vici was a lifesaver. I would say that did easily thousands of HP worth of healing. And Ursa doesn't really have that. You do have a little bit more burst, so maybe you kill the enemies. You don't need that healing afterwards. But if iG.V get a little bit of poke, if they're able to keep this Ursa at arm's length, get another sort of disable for the secondary support hero, so that when Ursa does jump in, you have a telekinesis and something else. Then Ursa, you can deal with him for sure. Whereas Blink and Omni Slash, yeah, you're kind of dead. There's some ways of dealing with that, but they require quite a bit of farm. They require the very specific right amount of heroes in the right position. It's difficult to deal with. I want to see what Vici Gamer are going to grab to kind of make up for the fact that they're going to be lacking in this tower damage. I like the Shadow Fiend. That would have been the mid hero that Vici are going to go for. They could just go for an Invoker and play a little bit of a slower style and still run at you, yes, but kind of rely more on pickoffs. I wouldn't mind seeing that. TA doesn't seem as great here. Definitely would be a little bit more awkward in this game. No, I'm liking the Invoker. At least as a kind of a starting point for Vici. They can also just get their supporting cast up, since they have none of them right now. Ooh, there we go. iG.V pulling something out of the bag here. Ancient Apparition is a hero I love to play, but every single time I play it, I'm like, God, this hero sucks. He kind of does, but he has his uses as well. He has his uses specifically up against the Abaddon. Nice healing, bro. Oh, wait, you didn't get any health. Ursa also is a hero who tends to heal quite a bit. So I like that. I like how you have the Rubik AA combo. With the Juggernaut, that lane is going to be very dangerous. You have a substantial amount of burst. I'm actually not sure. You guys know how Blade Fury, like, it counts as attacks. If you right-click something while Blade Furying, you do no damage, but you can still, like, proc things. I think you can proc Chilling Touch while Blade Furying. I'm not 100% on that. I'm like 90% on that. But that just makes you do so much more damage. I think you do. I'm not actually sure, because I know you could proc like Maelstrom and Maim and stuff like that. You technically lifesteal, but you do no damage, so you don't lifesteal any health back. I think that may work. Perhaps. But the Ancient Apparition, where I don't like this hero, is in the fact that he is just going to be food for someone like an Abaddon or Ursa. At a certain point, maybe even a Bounty Hunter. Like, this hero just does not protect himself well at all. And it's not like you have that luxury of sitting back and relying on space creation from your teammates. No, you kind of have to be in the mix up against an Ursa, Bounty, and Abaddon who are going to be in the mix. So AA, in that regard, don't like him. I do like how it's a response to Abaddon, but I think at this point, iG.V may be going a little bit too overboard dealing with him. I do really like this Dark Seer, though. It makes the Ancient Apparition pick a lot better. Vacuum into an Ice Blast is so much better than just Ice Blast. So that's pretty powerful. On top of that, you have the Surge, which is probably the biggest reason to pick him. Get rid of that threat of Ursa early on, and even in the later stages as well, until Ursa does get something like a Basher into an Abyssal Blade or something like that. Or a Sheep Stick, even, we've seen those picked up. Your Surge is going to keep your teammates, at least in theory, very safe. Looking at the hero's pre-disruptor pick from Vici Gaming, no real way of locking down a hero who's going to be Surged. You can run after them with Track, you know where they are, you can run after them pretty quickly. Can't quite lock them in. Pretty easy disruptor pick, honestly, for the Vici Gaming squad. iG.V probably aren't going to be clumping up too much with their heroes, but still, it's versus the Dark Seer, so you know what? Just go for that, and you'll be happy.
10 seconds remaining.
Sorry, guys. Still getting over a cold, so you must excuse any pauses in speech. Not like anything happened, right? Not missing anything too much here. Excuse me one more time. There we go. Much better. I can actually breathe now. Here we go. Got the Storm Spear pickup for Vici. Now, that's an interesting one for sure. They have pick-off potential up the wazoo. And this is actually going to make the Ricky ban make sense now. They have heroes that actually don't like going in smoke screen. Ursa really doesn't like that. Can't afford to miss his shots. Storm Spirit, that's how you kill storms, by dropping a smoke screen on him. So it all comes for full circle here for Vici Gaming. And on top of that, this is a hero that will really punish this Ancient Apparition pick. Get on top of this Rubik to punish that as well. You very easily chase after a Darkseer with Storm Spirit is on top of that. Now perhaps the rest of his team is going to struggle to keep up. There is a definite possibility of that happening. They lack the real punch that you get from a Lifestealer pick with the Storm Spirit. But iG.V are going to go a little bit old school with this one. Dragon Knight. Haven't seen him in quite a long time, actually. Perhaps I'm just really out of the loop and DK's first pick always. But DK Juggernaut with an Ancient Apparition, this is a pre-patch kind of draft from iG.V. In theory, it still will work in the same way. Get the level 6 on the Dragon Knight, and the matchup versus Storm Spirit Hell, even versus Storm Spirit Bounty Hunter isn't that bad, so he should be just fine. And then when you have Dragon Form, go for the tier 1s. Just try to play this slow, grindy game from iG.V. You look at his threats from Vici. You have Ursa, who is purely physical. Storm Spirit, as far as mid lanes are concerned, is, as far as interiors are concerned, let's say, not really the most magic damage there, so is also very reliant on his right clicks. Bounty, Disruptor don't really do a lot of damage. Abaddon may or may not do a lot of damage, but the damage he does most likely is going to be physical if he does any at all. So Dragon's Blood is going to be a pain in the ass. Dragon's Blood, the fact that Darkseer is going to be going for a mech type build-up, get a little bit of sustain from him. Hot damn, I love that so much. That is the coolest thing of all time. Never get enough of seeing that. But yeah, the Dragonite really just with his mass armor is going to be difficult to kill off. Where's the magic damage coming from? I'm not sure. You have extra healing from the Darkseer, you have extra healing from this Juggernaut. And VG, they have a lot of chase power, but their ability to get quick burst kills is going to have to happen from the Ursa, who is, again, going to have kind of a struggle without a lot of setup and a lot of help from his allies. So in this game, I like where iG.V have landed a little bit more than Vici, whereas the opposite which was true of game 1. Let's see if I can keep on my 100% prediction route. Yeah, they could just straight outplay them. Like, this Abaddon could still have a really great time, but I don't expect it to be as good of a time as last game, simply because he's up against Blade Fury. It's a lot more difficult to play as the Abaddon in this game up against Blade Fury. But let's quickly go over who's playing what before anything breaks out. Got In July on the Darkseer, played a mean Nyx Assassin despite the loss. So hopefully we'll see some good vacuum wall plays from him. We got Cicada on the DK mid. Super is going to be handling the Ancient Apparition. Dogfights is on the Rubik. He plays this hero quite a bit. I feel like I always see him on this hero. I'm not sure. Paparazzi is on the Juggernaut. HYM going to be spotting all of them out as the Bounty Hunter, sliding right by. Bounty splits is even. Towards bottom, we got Yang. Same loadout on the Abaddon. Ori is on the Storm Spirit. DDC's on the Disruptor. I feel like I see him playing that one a lot as well. We got End on the Ursa with, of course, the Sick Hat. This is lower bracket. Yes, this is lower bracket. Game 2, iG.V versus Vici. Vici are 1 game up. So loser of this match is kicked out. And we got winner bracket coming out. I think we'll wait on the timer. 9 SGT, 9 EST. I don't know what time that is in other regions. Do it yourself. That's going to be happening a little bit after this one. Yang and Super get into a man fight. And Chilling Touch is pretty broken in those man fights, so they have to watch out. Now the spin onto HYM. Going to get a little bit of body block from his friend Dogfight. That means HYM can actually slip out of there. 315 movement speed. I don't think they actually have anyone who could outspeed him. No, not quite. So yeah, Bounty Hunter maybe could have gone down there if Dogfights wasn't quite in that angle, in that way there. It happens, though. It happens. You can still see how much additional pressure they're able to apply to this lane just by having a couple heroes to poke and the existence of that Blade Fury. Orb of Venom on Rubik. Yang's going in again. Yeah, they're able to poke at these supports right back, but they're keeping the Abaddon off the creep wave, which is essential for keeping this Abaddon down in the game. Cicada taking a lot of shots from the Storm Spirit, actually. I talked up his tankiness, of course. That doesn't really come into play until he gets Dragon Blood, substantially. Very quickly running out of regen, but his bottle should be coming up pretty shortly. This DK should be fine. Lift up onto the Bounty Hunter, and he is going to go down with the dust. He has shield on him. That's not going to hold, though. He'll pop the Super's right click. And this is the Bounty Hunter getting a little bit too confident. I mean, he's not exactly a tanky hero. He has a lot of armor, I guess. But with that many heroes right-clicking on you, no spin needed, no Chilling Touch needed. Was Chilling Touch on there? It might have been on there. Either way, Bounty Hunter really dead now. And while HYM spending all this time over in the bottom lane, they know that their sentry in this area was destroyed. So they know that there is detection around this area. So Bounty Hunter can't even play super confidently in that regard. He honestly can't really do a ton if he was to go in towards the mid lane, but they know that as long as the Bounty Hunter's here, DK doesn't really have much to fear. He's not really having the best time in the world versus Storm Spirit, but I mean, this is pretty much DK in a nutshell, right? You have an okay time every time, and now the lift up with the spin at the ready. Yank's gonna shield himself. It's not gonna save him. They do take him down, but at the same time, on the top lane, looks like they're able to glimpse back. No glimpse, just straight kill a Darkseer. Sure, guys. I don't know. Why no caster in-game in Dota TV? I have... If I'm not showing up in Dota TV, guys, I don't know. I'm getting the thing here, which means to me, I'm in Dota TV. So, yeah, you guys should be fine. Cicada on the mid lane, getting a jump by HYM. Lots of slows, lots of chip damage. But at the end of the day, that's all it is, just chip. But now that we have the Bounty Hunter a little bit more on the roam, and I like this. Like, they realize the bottom lane is not going to be a repeat of game 1. You may as well have HYM try to poke around in other places. There's a slow courier here. If he had boots, maybe he'd be able to get on top of that. Not quite fast enough. He's gonna jack a bounty rune though. Classic bounty hunter plays. Yeah, but this bounty is in a really awkward spot here. Tanky targets in mid and top lane. Tri lane over in bottom. He's gonna jack another bounty rune. Feels greedy, man. That's gonna be nice for him, but you know, it's still not gonna be super fantastic. If they can get a glimpse on Cicada, that will be super fantastic. It's only level 1, so DDC, if you can't reach, no one's gonna blame you. I'm not even sure if that glimpse would have been a kill. Like, Dogfights is coming in fast. By fast, I mean fast. He's actually gonna go in straight towards the Storm Spear. Breathe Fire is there, but they need a lot of right clicks, and I'm not sure if those right clicks are in the book right now. They're gonna pop Dogfights the glimpse back. A couple more right clicks on the Storm Spirit. Cicada's damage is not quite high enough. And now the Shrine just for Rubbins. As Ori's gonna slip out of there. They got jebaited so hard. TP coming in from Yang as well. HYM getting no experience from that. I don't know. But yeah, it seemed like he should have gotten some XP from that. Either way, it's still a nice 2-kill for VG. They keep the Storm Spirit alive. And Ball Lightning is going to be up shortly. It's going to up the kill power on this mid lane substantially. Like we can see, they're doing very slow damage to this DK. They are keeping him kind of at this 3/4 to half HP mark with just the free right clicks Ori's able to get. Once you get the ability to actually jump on him through Glimpse, through Ball Lightning, then the game changes substantially. They're going to get the lift up though. Onto the Storm. Cicada not really wanting to fight that. DDC has arrived. They're hugging each other, trying to share bottle charges, I think. And then take a Breathe Fire. Classic. Now while all this is happening, Juggernaut is on bottom lane. He is just chilling. So there is no real answer that Vici have. Aside from this Ursa, but End obviously is not really willing to go down towards that lane right now. Only level 5. Level 5 versus level 5. I think Juggernaut comes out on that one on top because he has spin. Another lift up onto the Storm Spirit, this time with the Chilling Touch, and look at the difference in damage. Cicada also had that Dragon Tail, which he didn't use earlier. But Chilling Touch is pretty good. He's actually going to be getting a couple more points of it, and I don't mind that at all. Not really a ton of magic damage, so Ice Vortex for that is kind of mediocre. Your stun setup is good enough to maybe get some more Cold Feet as well as with that Chilling Touch. So, yeah, this AA having an okay early game. Nothing amazing, but hey, getting kills. All 3, in fact, have been with the AA. Keeping in the fight with that Chilling Touch, that's what you want. The more very early laning phase brawls you can get in with the Ancient Apparition, the better you're going to be. Now they're going to try to crack a different nut in the Abaddon. Lifts him up with the Chilling Touch. The damage is high. He has a shield for himself with the Breathe Fire. They seal the deal. Yang down now. And iG.V. kind of with the run of the map right now. Now they don't have the dragon form quite yet, but that will be coming soon enough. Storm and Ursa, both very much so powerhouses in the mid game. In this early game phase, really need the right environment to thrive. They also need this to not happen again. They're going to freeze the Abaddon on top of that Dragon Tail, and he's going to get the shield off, yes, but I don't think he's surviving this one. Dragon form just to get that last hit. Now, I like how they're giving mid lane to someone else. Storm Spirit is not the fastest jungler in the world, but he's competent. So he will be able to get income elsewhere, leaving the mid lane free to an ally. And Ori, what are you doing? Okay, he's just gonna suicide. He has backup here, but they don't really do that much damage. They're gonna jump in towards Cicada anyway. The Ursa's coming in, that's why they're doing it. They're gonna grab Cicada, dogfights, glimpse back into the clutches of the bear. Rip Rubik. And that actually worked out pretty well. It seemed like iG.V were kind of surprised that the Storm Spirit was there as well. Perhaps Chilling Touch wasn't quite up in time, but Storm Spirit kind of just walked into a couple heroes with stuns. I'm not really sure why you do that. Kind of iG.V surprised at that play as well. The Dragon Tail and the Telekinesis I think were overlapping, and I mean, even though Disruptor is going to arrive and Bounty Hunter show their faces, it's like, who cares, man? Like, these heroes don't really have a huge impact on a fight like that. Smoke blown, dogfight's gonna dust up, and he will see nothing. HYM's gonna slip out of there. Another classic Bounty Hunter play. Still no track yet up on this bounty, but they are getting a good amount of farm now on the Ursa. Should have an item flying out to him. Yeah, there it is. The Mom of Madness. He is just going to go ham. At least that's the plan. Plan should be also cover him as much as you can with the shield. Still no miscoil in this game. I'm not really sure if I like this build up from the Abaddon. This game is so different from the last. Blade of Avernus is insane in the right circumstances, but miscoil just to heal up your Ursa or your Storm Spirit a bit. Like Curse of Avernus Curse of Avernus build, rather, is definitely a build that is more powerful when you are further ahead. Miscoil is better when you're behind. And I think this is a game where Abaddon is behind enough to consider going for that coil over the blade, and now he's gonna get stunned up. He has no borrowed time, but he's just gonna hit level 6 off of this one, and they got baited again. Cicada get torn up by End. They pull back dogfights. They have a glimpse as well. All they need is the sight, and they have that as well. Super down in a couple seconds. There you go. End gets a double. Baited. Yeah, I don't really know how you plan that. Like, Yang knew that he was almost at level 6, so he's like, you know what, guys, I'm gonna get caught here. I'm gonna be fine because I have borrow time. There's not enough burst to burst me straight through it, and I will make sure they initiate on me. You guys come in and we clean them up. Now, even if they lose the Abaddon there, it's fine. They come in with everyone and still get a massive exchange. But that was perfectly orchestrated by Yang on this Abaddon. I'm assuming it's him saying that it's a play that they can make. It might be someone else, I don't know, but I'm going to give the credit to this Abaddon. And iG.V, yeah, they have no Ice Blast, they have no Vacuum Wall combo. As far as a big team fight is concerned, not really in the cards. They're really good at these kind of single targets, pick-off fights. They can gang up and kill off a hero very easily. But killing off many heroes, that's a problem. Also for iG.V, this is a problem, because N has lifesteal, so that means Roche is going to be a free one for him, and I'm pretty sure iG.V don't know about this. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if they know about it. They can't do anything about it, even if they did. So that's a double life for the Ursa, with a Blink Dagger right around the corner on top of that. The only thing that's not going really well for Vici is the fact that their Bounty Hunter isn't level 6 yet. It is getting to... Oh, well, they found in July. Got him. They're going to Static Storm, keep DDC a little bit safe for Paparazzi, but he still gets lifted up, so he is going to go down here. 2 dogfights. Oh well, it's a worthwhile exchange. Get End to kill on a Darkseer while losing your support. Totally worth it. But yeah, the downside is that Bounty Hunter's kind of struggling to find his experience. The iG.V side has been pretty good about keeping sentries on the map. So HYM's, like, again, his roaming life is very difficult just matchup-wise. He's been kind of counterplayed around every single time. And speaking of, sentry drops, they see a Bounty Hunter. He's going to get frozen? No, just burst it down. Okay. Well, that works too, I guess. He has a tome, he's level 5, so his level 6 is coming eventually, but still, they would rather like to have it a lot sooner. The power level of Storm Spirit is high enough to go into the backlines for these supports. Obviously, Ursa is very comfortable doing very much so the same thing. If they could put that together, they'll be fine. But in the meantime, Darkseer's still building up his mechanism. Not really the fastest build up in the world, but it's coming. They have the Ice Blast on Super as well. That could be huge. Again, it messes with borrowed time quite a bit. You don't get heals from that. Ursa has lifesteal, or so he thinks. And of course it just does more damage. Decreases their effective HP by like, what, 9% at level 1? Oh, 10%. Damn it. Ice Frog, why do you keep changing this? Making my numbers all wrong. Big smoke up from VG. I mean, obviously they do want to kind of exercise map control right now. Getting a fresh Blink Dagger on Ursa will always do that for you. Getting a Blink Dagger on Ursa with an Aegis, and you want to go in onto whoever you could find, including Observer Wards. You're not safe. This is where iG.V have to keep their vision up. This is where they have to keep their split push game up. We have an Observer Ward spotted out with HYM in the area. Jump in towards dogfights. It was a bait the entire time. I'm going to say it was. They're going to jump in for Super as well. You track him up, and he's going to go down. Now into the TPing heroes. Sakata's going to get pulled right back. Great vacuum onto 3 heroes. But Yang's pop our time. The only hero that died there has an Aegis. So Sakata now tracked up. He's going to get glimpsed right back into the clutches of Fuzzy Wuzzy. Sakata down. Paparazzi in July. Charging forward, knowing that Rubik can back them up. But this is still up against 5 heroes. They have to be careful about not getting too far ahead of themselves. That was 2 track kills for the Vici squad. Was it 3? It might have been 3. 2 at least track kills for the Vici squad. HYM already cashing in huge off of that very recent pickup. And it seems like iG.V, they know that their strength in their draft right now is being able to focus down any one hero and kill them off very quickly. And they're kind of just getting constantly baited by that. It's like, oh shit, there's a hero. Let's kill him very quickly because that's what our draft does. And yeah, you may be able to get that kill or not, but the interruption, the jump-in factor from VG is now fully online. Level 2 Ball Lightning means that Ori can get in and out very quickly. You obviously have the shield from Abaddon, so whoever you do jump on is going to have a little bit of extra HP there, plus your stuns are not quite going to work. And you have an Ursa, so he can jump in as well. iG.V, I don't think, can take Vici in a heads-up fight unless they are able to get a good vacuum. And the good vacuum will probably not be a level 2 vacuum. They need level 3, level 4 for that one. They need the mechanism. They need an Omni Slash to be used in a fight. They need an Ice Blast to land. It doesn't sound like a lot, really. Maybe it does. They don't need all of those things to happen. They just need like a couple of those things to happen. When you're considering, though, how fast they die to an Ursa, they have to worry about Disruptor Static Storm jamming their combos up. And of course, the Abaddon as well. The order gets a little bit taller. Still, sentries are up. This is what Dragon Knight does, right? Pop Dragon form, poke towers. HYM is testing for vision right now. He's gonna find some, but at what cost? Good job, guys. We found the sentry boards. I'm not really sure why you don't just like stand back here and track them, because that seems good to me. Using your face to check if the enemy has detection is usually not a play that I would be happy to make, but I ain't no professional, so I'm going to say that that was, of course, the definite 100% correct play. They get a tower, tier 2 tower killed, and a tower denied. Not bad at all from iG.V. Again, they're staying competitive in the net worth department, in the experience department. It is still very close in those metrics.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
What they're behind in, though, is that snowball factor. VG have most of the momentum on their side. They have the tools to take fights. The heroes necessary to take good fights as well. Scan is going to keep blue safe. Is Paparazzi going to back out of there? And no longer has that Aegis, though. It was a very important item to have in that last engagement up towards top. You can only focus down so many heroes on iG.V. And again, their forte is being able to focus down and kill off one guy. If that one guy is Storm Spirit, he has Ball Lightning, so Chain Stun better be perfect. If the one guy's Ursa with an Aegis, well, you're going to have to do it twice, and of course Abaddon has borrowed time, so you can't really do that. VG, smoke up. There you go, smoke up. Scan was already used for iG.V. Though they should know that this type of gameplay in general is what Vici want to do. Paparazzi, though, still farming in a spot where he is very vulnerable. If they just went up this direction, Paparazzi would be so many levels of screwed, it wouldn't even be funny. They're going to scan. They're going to see a target. Cicada, at least. Shockwave is out, so maybe Cicada knows that something's up. Or maybe not. Blink in. Earth Shock. Cicada's going to get some help here from the telekinesis. Static Storm still drops with the kinetic field. They're going to catch a Dragonite just on the edge. He's going to go down. Huge ball lightning incoming in from Ori. Finds the Rubik. Pulls him and assassinates him as well. Vacuum back. Omni Slash onto End. Not quite enough. And now the slashes from End is going to tear Paparazzi down. Ice Blast coming in, but it's not going to be on the mark. End is going to survive. In July is here with the Ice Fact onto Yang. So he will be pretty confident here, but there is a Storm Spirit in the background they're not dealing with. Ori's out of mana, doesn't matter, gets the kill anyway. Jump back in for In July, and is going to get another one. And Ori is left alone the entire fight. A 4-for-1 exchange. I'm pretty sure the Sage here only blasts if there's like a certain set of circumstances, including multiple heroes. I thought it was 3, but apparently it's 2. He should have taken that as a pretty big tell. But on top of that, they're able to keep the Ursa on top of the DK, which is, of course, the hero that they're going to struggle the most to kill. He's got Armley, he's got Dragon Blood, obviously he's tanky, so you got to make sure you deal with him somehow. Able to take him down just on the edge of the perfect kinetic field from DDC. I thought he was free and clear. I thought they were going to have to glimpse him back, but no, they were just free to put him in the cage and keep him there. And then, of course, Ori. The luxury of knowing that one of his biggest threats, that Dragonite Dragontail, is currently being silenced and killed off by his teammates, means that he can jump in for his other biggest threat, Telekinesis. Eliminates the Rubik, and once those 2 stuns are off the board, you can't kill Ori unless he somehow runs out of mana, which he, to be fair, was pretty close to. But Ori just slayed the back line while the rest of his team slayed the front line. If you have no back line and no front line, you're pretty screwed. I'm not really sure if middle line is a thing. I'm going to say it's not. They will still group up around this dragon form, take a tower, find the Abaddon. He does have a hood, though, so he's very tanky. Jump back in. Dogfights is going to get a shield on himself, so he'll be just fine. Jump in now towards the Ancient Apparition. They will kill him off first. Static Storm, Kinetic Field combo, not quite good enough, but they do have Cicada alone in the corner. End is not on top of him, though, so the damage might not be high enough. Omnislash will kill off the Abaddon off to the side, as Ori's going to try to teleport out of there. Stuns, disables, and they don't need it. They have enough burst damage to kill off that Storm. He's back up immediately because of Bloodstone, but that's only a kill onto the Ancient Apparition. We can see the stark difference between having an Ursa on top of a DK with teammate support and having End kind of getting zoned out of that fight. Because End was not in that engagement. We have a big ball lightning for someone. Not really sure where Ori went. HYM still sticking around. Maybe they can set up a kill with the Storm Spirit. In July, track up. They see him with the ward as well. And they'll pull him back. Damage, though, isn't quite that high. They have a little bit of extra burst. Dogfight still has the shield. And with the glimpse, they will be able to kill off In July's Darkseer. Vacuum. The shell. Oh, it's going to be enough with the pop of the shield. Rubik getting 2 of them off there. Now going to pick a fight with DDC. Ice Blast coming in off the mark. Unless DDC walks back into it. Oh, that was close. Dogfights is going to leave, and they have nothing to interrupt him. 1-for-1 exchange. Cost Ori a lot of HP. Made him sweat, but still survives. Yeah, End needs to be on top of that DK, or the Juggernaut. In that last fight, he was pretty much out of it. He came in on the left, everyone else came in on the right. Static Storm combo wasn't quite perfect from DDC. Yeah, that fight was definitely a struggle for Vici. You spend all your time focusing at DK, you gotta make sure you kill him off. Because if you don't, he's just gonna regen back. He's gonna take all your shots, and that's the dream for iG.V. Like, that's what they want. They want Vici to focus the DK and just fall short of enough damage to kill him. Now, obviously, it's gonna be not happening all the time, but you know, every time it does happen like that, they're gonna be extremely happy. This is something they're gonna be a little bit less happy about. The fact that, oh, they actually found a target. Bounty Hunter down, no tracks coming in. It's a Bounty Hunter with hood as well. See how much that matters. Again, iG.V have been really good about keeping up those sentries. Now they're going to smoke in for more. Vici have Blink Daggers. They have Aegis. They will see dogfights and is going to go into the trees. He's going to pick a fight, but gets stunned immediately. He's going to pop his ultimate. Static Storm is going to be used, but it will not do all that much. We'll catch Rubik in the end. So he's going to go down. In July, looking for a vacuum. Angle will get it off onto 4 Heroes wall as well. The Ice Blast is a little bit late, but they will take out the Aegis and knock the Ursa down very low. They will kill off. That was actually Yang. My bad. Stuck in the middle of that engagement. Great turnaround there from In July with that vacuum. Again, not quite enough damage from Vici, always falling just a little bit short. They pop the Aegis, and Vici are now on the back foot. These combos from iG.V have been on point. They just worry about overstaying their welcome. But I think a tier 2 tower is probably going to be good enough. And they will take it perfectly safely. In July, Paparazzi chasing after the Storm Spirit. It's the most obvious thing in the world. So that's not going to happen. It shouldn't happen. I think he's going to be okay. This is what Vici desperately need. Orchid on Storm. Honestly, they need anything that gives plus damage to the Storm. He's able to get in there. He's able to kill off the soft heroes. But this is, again, the struggle. Like, the DK matchups, the Darkseer matchups are so good because Vici just lack that burst if it's not coming from the Ursa. The tankiness of the iG.V squad is just going to slay them. HYM, I'm sure he's thought about canceling that. iG.V are just so tanky at this point with these huge turnaround heroes. Huge ball lightning from Ori. What the hell? Immediately gets hit with the Dragon Tail and has to leave. What the F was that? Okay, so he used all his mana pool to get in and then leaves. He has a lot of mana regen, so I guess he'll be back up to full soon. That was weird. Gotta say, from the VG side, it's coming down to this Disruptor. Gotta silence that Darkseer, silence the Rubik. Just get some distraction so that the Ursa and the Storm Spirit can both go in freely. DDC has been kind of hit or miss. Some static storms are great. The one over here actually looked like it was going to be good. The field didn't quite come up in time, though. It would have been like a 2-man, I think. Probably 3 static storm. If you get a 3-man static storm with an Ursa in there, it's just all over. But iG.V right now are in a great spot. They have the luxury of being able to sit back and get this Juggernaut a couple more minutes of farm. As long as they keep their sentries up, they have limited the Bounty Hunter's gold income thus far. Can only assume they're going to keep doing the same in the future with those sentries. This Vici draft was kind of meant to snowball off this track. Get Storm a lot fatter, a lot earlier. Get this Abaddon, this Radiance a lot earlier. HYM just getting picked off every single time. They're going to dust up. It'll miss. Observer Sentry combo. They do jump in up towards the north on the Disruptor. Well, I said earlier, one of the more important heroes on the VG squad. Not sure if they could do anything off of this, but it's a kill. The VG Snowball stops cold. Ursa, Storm Spirit as kind of a late game comeback set of cores. Not really the greatest. Especially when the enemy is keeping competitive in farm. I mean, Zakata's gone for a really standard DK build thus far. Armlet maybe you could debate is not completely standard. But I would say it is. If Zakata keeps farming like this, if he keeps getting into engagements where he's able to survive, hard, yes, but with the BKB 10 seconds, a lot more realistic now. He will turn into a substantial damage threat, whereas right now he's more of a distraction than a threat. Soon the bar is going to tip towards threat over distraction. And it probably is going to come with this AC. I would expect AC into some sort of damage item. Hell, even a heart isn't bad. Yeah, not really a damage item, but just you have an AC dragon bearing down on you, you gotta do something about that. And Ursa's damage just doesn't seem like it's quite high enough to realistically heal off a DK with BKB. Unless they get this, right? This is the Aghanims on Disruptor. Mute the BKB, mute the mech, mute the Manta Style. I guess Guardian Grease at this point, not mech. That will be a huge pickup for DDC. But good luck farming that as Disruptor in this game state. iG.V bringing it back up on the high ground now with the level 2 dragon. The Yang is here. He can't really do much about this by himself. This angle, though, really dangerous. They're on the low ground. Storm Spirit has the luxury of initiation. Courier is going to be coming in. They are going to go into the woods and find Super at the same time. Jump in for the Rubik, and he's down in an instant. They're going to take him down. Ancient Apparition does get his ultimate off. Big vacuum back into a wall with Cicada just right-clicking in as they start to lag up. They have lost no one so far, Vici. Cicada's holding strong with his full BKB duration, full HP. They'll take down the Abaddon. Where's the Storm Spirit? Where's the Ursa? They need to get in on this DK. They're going to try to do it right now. In the meantime, going for Super. They take him down in the background. And now going to change his target towards Cicada, who'll take down the Storm Spirit beforehand, but will lose his life immediately afterwards. And now they're on to the last. It's a full team wipe in favor of VG as iG.V get caught in the middle of one too many heroes. That was a fantastic vacuum wall from the Darkseer. Pretty much perfect. But with no immediate damage, no immediate lockdown afterwards, just not quite enough. The ability to assassinate that Rubik, again, the luxury of initiation for the Storm Spirit, playing a big part in that victory for VG. And the fact that Ursa was able to back out of that vacuum wall combo. Usually when you get hit with the vacuum wall like that as Ursa, you take like at least half your HP worth of damage from just, random sources, and you have to back off for good in that fight. Not really sure if the shrines played a huge part in that. Looks like this one might have been used. I don't know. Probably was. But the ability for Ursa just kind of reset, rearm, and then jump back in afterwards, after waiting for all his cooldowns, is a big one. HYM spotting out once again, and much like before, gets punished by detection. Is there a gem there? Seems like there should be. Yeah, gem on the Darkseer. Bounty Hunter survived the last fight, got a couple of track kills. I think 2 at the most. And that was a big win for Vici. That was also iG.V making their most aggressive play, push up high ground, without the proper preparation. Roshan, additional items on this Juggernaut, which they have the luxury of waiting for. So I'm not really sure if we can count on Vici to make a repeat performance of that fight. It is very possible. But again, the stars kind of have to align. They need DDC to get that Static Storm off, get a Kinetic Field off at least. They need to have Focus Fire be on point. End doesn't have a Basher type item, so Force Staff, Surges, they're going to be coming up shortly. Although AA kind of has nothing right now. 30-minute Midas feels bad, man. They're going to find HYM and the Sea Yang a little bit more than they bargained for. Ooh, Rubik actually stole Invis. That's a big one. Just being able to throw him wherever you want, and now that most likely he'll be safe. Have him telekinesis should he find someone, like an Abaddon. I don't know, maybe. Jump in, Dragon Tail onto the Storm Spirit. Where's the help? Needs some help right now. It's too late. He's going to BKB then die. That's not what you want. And his BKB'd up as well, but they know they don't have enough damage to do this, so they will just leave. Cicada didn't even need to pop his BKB. He's going to blink forward, looking for someone. We'll find very little. Find Yang in his base. Can they kill him here? He's a bad. I'm not really sure about that one. But Storm Spirit down with no buyback is an absolutely massive pickup for iG.V. And now the level 3 Dragon going to go to work on the bottom lane. Going to fall in its entirety. Mid lane, a possibility as well, though. Storm Spirit's going to be up soon. So it looks like they should back off and be okay with that. Man, jump in on the Storm was backbreaking. That's the point in the game where you need an immediate Abaddon shield. Not really sure where Yang was. Probably off to the south. Like the initiation happened here. Maybe he was like over here, like the worst possible place to be. But yeah, Storm Spirit is with the Ursa. Heroes that Vici absolutely cannot afford to lose. They will scan. Paparazzi has an Invis rune. He's going to blow a couple smokes and see everyone. Oh, that is so backbreaking. They're camping out. I mean, the play was for Vici. Get a pick off, get a clean Roche. Go for another aggressive play. Without that first step, taking the Roche step is going to be a little bit more difficult because they know that they will have a couple heroes to fight them. Sakata's going to run right in, looking for End. Going to get glimpsed out. End is going to pop his BKB, go straight to work onto Paparazzi. Damage dealt, though, very minimal. Now the Omni Slash is going to keep him safe further as the Vacuum does pull back 3. Static Storm does absolutely jack all. Ursa's still in this fight, still pretty healthy. Storm Spirit is low on mana, though, after taking down dogfights in the back end. Getting right-clicked down by Sakata. Damage dealt to the Ursa, now starting to stack up and will be enough to take him down. Field goes up one more time. Yang stuck in the middle of it with the borrow time. Won't die just yet, but I'm not really sure how he gets out of the clutches of this dragon. And is going to buy back. Glimpse back now onto Paparazzi. Field goes up with the jump in back from the Storm Spirit. Paparazzi going to Manta style straight through the field, in fact. He'll be just fine. DK, maybe not as lucky. He'll try to armlet surf his way out of this. That's not going to happen. Double damage now picked up by the Storm to solidify this Roshan. One buyback expent there in a 2-for-2 exchange. I think it's worth it for Vici to do that. I mean, the concern here is that they're just not taking these fights in a clean manner. Ori's just gunning for the back lines, and also this is happening in the meantime. Ori's just not fast enough in killing off a hero like Rubik. Should be just like, you know, bam, dead. But the rest of the team can't really buy enough time for Storm Spirit to do that. And at the same time, like, he comes to the main fight with no mana left. He has an okay amount of Bloodstone charges. He, of course, has that Orchid. So his mana regen is respectable. Spends a lot of it, though, on the back line. And there, we can see the Ursa really struggling to do any sort of relevant damage here. He is trying to fix that as best he can. Plate mail for anti-Omni-Slash tech into an MKB. I mean, it's big game here for the Ursa, but I mean, the Juggernaut has some big game as well. Scotty into Butterfly. Butterfly plan might be changed if he sees the Ursa MKB build up. iG.V not deterred. They will still push in and look for those picks. VG have been pretty consistently just straight walking into them. They still should have the gem on Injuly. Yeah, they do. It's back to farming. More mana needed for the Storm Spirit. They really, really need this Disruptor to get the Static Storm to land, first of all. It's going to be more important since he is missing a staff. There it is, okay. He has a staff. Once that's online, if you are able to cancel out anything from the DK, anything from the Jug, anything from this Dark Seer, get rid of that Pipe, get rid of that Guardian Grooves effect. Yeah, you're looking at an easy way to turn the fight. He actually did get the item. Okay. Thought he was a little bit behind there. But this represents the biggest potential for Vici to turn this around. They still have the cheese. Still have the Aegis. And iG.V, they are looking like they actually want to go in on this still. They are fearless, man. I would be just backing off. Just everyone disperse. Farm, farm, farm. Let the enemies come to us. That's what they should be doing, honestly. Maybe not disperse part. Maybe don't disperse. Stick together and farm. That's probably a little bit more responsible. It looks like VG want to smoke right now. I mean, this Aghanim Scepter ultimate on the Disruptor might just straight win them a team fight if it latches onto the right heroes. I guess they need the kinetic field to latch the heroes. Let's see, HYM kind of scared to scout. As well he should be. Got Radiance as well. Actually, that's a big deal for Yang. He's usually just alive till the very end of the fight. That Radiance burn damage will add up. Plus mischance from both the Jug and DK. He doesn't have to worry about illusions returning that to his own team from the Darkseer. But, you know, it's well worth it. Walk in, claim tower, walk out. Seems not too bad. Or pretend to walk out and bait the enemies in. I don't think Yang was spotted there. But I'm pretty sure iG.V have played enough Dota to know that this is still not a safe situation to be in. I mean, they have this. Pink is pinging it out. Like, we could sit here all day, but we're just gonna lose if we do that. This game is still very close. Like, despite a 1 Rax lead, iG.V ahead 4K, but down a lot more in experience. What else could they get to really turn this tide? Shiva's is not going to be a tide-turning item. It's a very nice item to have on Storm, don't get me wrong. Sheepstick for pick-off power, that's a little bit more what's up. I mean, Shiva's actually is a great item to have versus a DK, versus a Juggernaut. You, again, don't have to worry about getting auras up against the wall of Replica. That is inconvenient. But that armor aspect, keeping himself alive for longer, making sure that if he does get hit with the Dragon Tail, Telekinesis, whatever, he doesn't immediately die, that is a big deal. We saw how backbreaking that was. I mean, that cost them the bottom racks is the fact that Storm Spirit just got insta-gibbed earlier. He already has the plate mail, so it's not really going to help him that much more to get the Shivas. The minus attack speed aura is pretty nice. Smoke up. I don't know if iG.V are going to expect it to happen here. Smoke will be blown. HYM's going to see absolutely everyone. Static Storm onto the DK. No BKB in this fight. Can they focus him down in time? He's taking a lot of hits, and it looks like it'll be just enough to kill him off. Wall does drop, make a lot of illusions, but the Storm Spirit's now going to let loose onto Super. Gets lifted up out of the kill. Super still taking Radiance damage. Will back off into the trees and will teleport out of there. It looks like it's only a DK kill. Everyone deploys everything. Actually, no. Omnislash was not used there. BKB on the DK was also not used, whereas BKB was used on the Vici side. I mean, it's a win because you kill off a DK. That's no small feat, but man, in the meantime, bottom lane is taking a lot of damage. You only get that 1 kill. It's not the worst thing in the world, but they wanted at least a second. Still, a kill's a kill. It's going to be at least 30 seconds where the DK is not farming. Where they don't have to worry about getting jumped because if iG.V man up, they might be able to go in for an aggressive play. But they can breathe easy, farm for a little more, get this Shiva's guard up. Juggernaut picks up Butterfly almost at the exact same time and gets enough money for an MKB. So there's that. We see how different that was with an Aghanim Scepter compared to not having that. Aghanim Scepter trumps BKB. So, yeah. Don't have that. So you don't have Magic Immunity, means you take full static Storm damage. Take all the magic damage from VG and the Storm Spirit repertoire. Again, it's not a lot of magic damage, but it is some. Paparazzi, ooh. Walking into a dire sentry. Oh no, don't go up there, Paparazzi. Do not do that. They do have a glimpse, but they don't have any vision on any of these heroes. If they can get a track to stick, that will be huge. They see Cicada. Unfortunately, track will most likely be met by a straight blink dagger. So you don't really want to blow your cover right now, HYM. Now Yang can just stay on this front line because he's in Abaddon. Jump in, baited Cicada in, into a Static Storm, but this time he has BKB up. And that will be a Static Storm completely wasted. They cannot fight this. They have to sacrifice Yang. He'll use Borrowed Time, but again, that ice effect means that he's taking no damage. Taking no healing, rather, from all this damage. And he will go down as well. Cicada gonna blink forward. Predicted that perfectly. Now, Static Storm doesn't really have the longest cooldown. We'll have another one for the high ground defense, but they won't have an Abaddon. Has no buyback. Jump in from Cicada very boldly. Looking for a target. They need 30 seconds before they can fight this one, but I'm not really sure if they have 30 seconds. They need 50 if they're going to fight at full strength. Jump in long from the Storm Spirit, looking at the DK, but he's so tanky. They can't just kill him like that. They need End to focus him down and Ori at the exact same time. Omnislash now going to stun and kill the Storm Spirit. Cicada going to jump in, stun, and kill the Ursa maybe. Maybe not. Ori's going to jump in, find dogfights. Yule Scepter going to waste his time though as Ori trying to zip away. Ball Lightning now stolen by the Rubik. They froze the Ursa. They'll take him down. He has no buyback. That's GG. VG standing on a knife's edge for a good portion of that game. Gonna end up losing the Abaddon with a Static Storm Whiffed at the exact worst time. iG.V are gonna claim victory here in this game too. Again, they're looking for the slow, grindy game, and that's exactly what we had here. A game where VG, they tried to snowball, couldn't quite make it happen. And that is going to lead to a third game, which should be coming up soon, guys. I'm Mike Lower. It's been a pleasure casting these games for you. I'll be right back for the third and final game between iG.V and VG Gaming.